Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is 12:30 here on the East Coast, and this is the John Thomas Hill Show. Um, well, it is the 24th of January. We are 3 full days into the Biden presidency. There have been some major changes in the fact that Biden has sacked a bunch of Trump officials, which wasn't really that surprising. It happens generally. The tone is obviously different. The Biden Twitter account, the POTUS account, is rather calm compared to what the former one was. Obviously, we're probably going to see a lot less emphasis on Twitter and social media during the Biden administration, although that will be obviously a part of it. There is one thing I do disagree with Biden on, and that is what he said the other day about the fact that we're not going to be able to affect the trajectory of the virus for some time to come. I think he said the next few months. I disagree with him. I think this is the time to emphasize to people that we could be rid of this thing a lot sooner than later if we were to push more mask wearing, more social distancing, and more hand washing. If I were in his shoes, the push would be, now is the time to be even more aggressive. Let's get this thing over and done with by Memorial Day. And make that a realistic goal. Now you're saying, well, that's a few months away. Yeah, it is. But it is a realistic goal in the sense that ideally you'd want to get it done a lot sooner than that. But, it's a real shame how partisan our country has been that practical, sound medical advice is ignored for the simple reason that it's considered partisan now. And that is truly shocking, in my opinion. That something as very simple as doing something that makes sense for everybody is considered a political issue. That for some reason the idea of obeying a mask mandate, it's not even you're not going to go to jail over it. The worst is you're going to pay a fine in some areas. And even then, the legality of that is debatable. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge because you're going to have people that just simply will not do the right thing no matter what, because to them, any movement on in the direction of Biden is considered sacrilege, which is a shame because, quite honestly, it makes a lot of sense to just wear your mask and to do the right thing because, truthfully, we're not going to get rid of this thing unless people understand that these simple steps are absolutely necessary. And you hear all the time people go, well, masks aren't protecting me. That's not the point. Yeah, they do offer some protection. Not as much as we'd like, ideally, because really the best mask is the N95 mask, and there's not enough of those around. Now, why that is another matter. But I digress. They're obviously uncomfortable. I will definitely agree with you there. there's no such thing as perfect protection against this thing. And people hate that fact. They go, well, why should I wear a mask if it's not going to perfectly protect me? Well, anything's better than nothing. And I've known some people already. One of my classmates from school had an aunt die the other day. One of my other friends from Facebook had her father recently pass away of both of them of COVID. Now, and that's just this past week, folks. Within the past week or so. And we've already lost Larry King to COVID. That was announced earlier today. There's going to be even more coming down the line, I'm sure, soon, because right now in the county, we are approaching 6,000 cases in a county of 63,000 people. Very soon it's going to be 1 in 10 have gotten it. 1 in 10. And I don't want to get it. I really don't want to get it. And the main reason for that is I don't want to get it because I'm afraid of what it'll do to me. If you hear me coughing from time to time, that's not because I've got the virus or anything. I'm overweight. I'll be perfectly frank about it. You know, a lot of folks have been talking about the fact of, quarantine weight and all this, and I've definitely got it. And I need to make some changes. And the fact of the matter is ever since I got laid off from my West Rock job back at the end of April of last year, I haven't really been as physically active as I was before. And a lot of that is because of depression. The fact that I've just been really out of it for most of this last year. I'm not very proud of that because of the fact that I've allowed myself to get in pretty bad shape in the sense of I've not weighed myself, but I probably am up to 350. And I've been heavier than that, but the truth is that I'm probably, that was back when I was younger, when I could handle it. I'm turning 50 this year. So, and I'm not going to go out and set, like, I got to lose 100 pounds or anything like that, because I think I'd set myself up for a disappointment. But the thing is, I'm going to basically do some pretty simple things. Eliminate sodas as much as I can. Just drink water or juice or flavored water. Be more mindful of what I eat. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to go hardcore on any diet. I'm just going to watch for portions and whatnot and not eat quite as much. Because I have had a habit of depression eating. And that's not always a good thing. I'm going to try to walk more. I really need to do that. If for anything else, walk up and down the driveway a bit and walk around the house. We'll see how that goes. So I really wish I lived in town because I could walk the trail or bike the trail and be good to go. And that's another goal I have for later this year is to move back into town. But there are some good things going on in my life. I wanted to kind of touch on that. I've been talking about watch-alongs, and I actually have the setup almost ready to go. The reason I've not done it yet is because it's kind of hard watching on a small tablet screen, and I now have purchased through Facebook Marketplace a 19-inch Sony Bravia television that is used. It was like $35, something like that. And It's a nice little set. It's not perfect, but it's good for what I need it to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to do watch-alongs, and I'm going to have it to my left. And when I do a watch-along, I'm going to turn to my left, and I'm going to watch the show. Now I'm going to turn the volume down because of potential copyright. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say when the show starts, and then go from there. So we'll see what happens. But I figured I'd let you know about that. And, it's been a very hard year for all of us. Some people, it's been a lot harder than others. I'll be the first to admit. I've not had anybody personally in my family or amongst my close friends that have lost someone. Most of the people I've known that lost are people I went to school with or people I was acquainted with. And that's tough enough because, excuse me, I really got to lose some weight. It's tough because, it makes me vulnerable. It does. And I have joked from time to time about getting it for the cheap 2-week vacation, but I don't think they pay us for that. Some companies will. I don't know about my company, the one I work for, because I'm basically considered part-time. And, it would be nice if we were considered full-time, but that's beside the point. I really would like to see us beat this thing, but at least by July 4th, if not sooner. turn the tide and to where by the next football season, this isn't a big thing to worry about. Now, I've been hearing about people going, well, my kid's education is they're getting behind and all that. Here's the thing. This is a unique opportunity to emphasize that the resilience of children. Kids can catch back up in time. I've known people who were dropped a grade because they had trouble, whether it's developmental or because they were under undue stress because of a family situation or health situation or whatnot, and they bounced back. Here's the thing. As long as you graduate from high school with a diploma, you're good to go. It doesn't matter if you do it from 18 or 19. If you have to miss a year, you miss a year. And that does have some detrimental effects. But like I said earlier, kids can be very resilient. And also, we're going to have to understand that, we may have to change our educational system to adapt to this reality of a pandemic, because there is always a possibility that this could happen again, and it may not even be the same thing. It may be a version of the West Nile virus. It may be something that affects our stomachs, because there are stomach viruses out there, and there is the potential for something like that to blow up. I mean, there's Ebola, there's other stuff out there that could potentially blow up and get this big. So we have to really learn a lesson from this and not forget that, this is not a one-time thing. This is not an aberration. We have to learn what went wrong and not just assign blame to one particular party. It started in China. The Chinese government screwed up by not acknowledging the severity of this to begin with, by not being more open about it. And it caused it to become more of a pandemic than it might have very well been had they managed it better. You could also accuse the United States government under Trump of neglect, because before he came along, we had resources to deal with this. And Trump, out of his foolishness, canceled them. My hope is Biden brings those back and improves upon them so that the chances of us getting this again are greatly reduced. They can't be completely eliminated, but greatly reduced. Well, I'm going to end the podcast here because I'm not feeling too hot. It's because of the weight. I'm not overly sick. I'm just very tired, and I know why. And I've got to lose weight. And it sucks. For a long time, I had thought I was okay. But in the last couple of months, I've become to realize, and a lot of it was because of the holidays and such, but I have a sedentary job that's not really that physically exhausting at all. And it's one of those things I really need to work on. And hopefully I can at least get some of this weight off, But we'll see what happens. But, I'm acutely aware I turned 50 this year. And I have more years behind me than ahead of me. So, anyhow, I'll leave you with that very positive thought. I am looking at doing watch-alongs starting probably Wednesday, my next day off, because, let's see, that's the 27th, I think. And HBO Max is supposed to have Babylon 5 on, I think, on the 26th. So, as part of an attempt to kind of help promote the show being on Babylon 5, on HBO Max, I'm going to try and do a rewatch a day and give you my thoughts about each episode as things go along, and we'll see how it goes from there. So that is my goal for the Carolina Geek Podcast. And I hope to do about 2 or 3, maybe more depending on my mood, a week. So we'll see how it goes from there. But I'm going to let you go now. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you're not in the situation I am with your weight. It's my fault entirely. I don't neglect from that. It's one of those things. You're probably affected just as much. Maybe some of you, maybe more, maybe less. Hopefully, but I need to fix this because I've been getting to really feel the effects, and I'm sure you've been able to tell that because I've sound really tired, and the fact is I am. So, anyhow, thank you for listening. Hope you have a great weekend, and good night, good luck. May the good news be yours.